Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Restaurant Table Booking App Video Series Part 10, Provision Azure Functions in Portal and Deploy from our Visual Studio Code. So we're going to provision the Azure Functions in the Azure Portal. That will be a part of the consuming Azure services, and we will see how things works in Portal, and we're gonna make our code which we saw in the previous code to be deployed there and automatically run every 12 hours. Come, let's get started. So I've logged into the portal. Go to portal.azure.com, and the first thing that we have to search is the Function App. Function App is the service that we are going to create. We are going to provision it. So click on the Function App. If there is no Function App, it is going to show us empty. Click on Create. All these settings are all like default. So pay as you go. Choose the resource group, and first 1 million or 10 million, I believe they're all free. So I'm going to choose my free version. You also can choose it. Give a name for the function app, and that will be our domain URL, our specific function URL. Okay, so this also ends with .azurewebsite.net. If you remember, this is literally behind the scene. It's kind of a web app only. Okay, so I'll name it as LSC table booking, and I'm choosing the code, and the runtime is 6.0. That is what we chose. It's a .NET and an LTS version 6. This is going to be a Windows. You can also choose whatever you want here, but consumption is serverless, as in when you use only you will pay. Initially a lot of requests is free, so go with the Windows and consumption plan. And the storage, right? So the storage is required for the Azure function to work, so it will automatically create a storage if you don't choose an existing storage, which is okay. I will let it create a storage for me, and storage might incur a mild cost. Let's see how much it will cost. Networking is like we're enabling this as a public network. You can enable the app insights. We already saw about the app insights. It is going to be very useful for us. Deployment also we can do. We can enable the deployment, take the code from the GitHub or the DevOps, which we will see in a different video. But for now, we don't have the code in the repository. So let's first provision this, provide a tag, and finally you click on the review create, and you should be able to create the function app. So once you come to the last page, click on the create, and it's going to submit for deployment. In short, it will create the resource, and this is the place where you see the function app. This is the URL, and click on the functions. Here is the place where you need to create a function. So let's do a create function here and see how it looks. So when you click on create function, it's going to give you a bunch of options. The first one you should notice is the development environment. Because this is like brand new that we are doing, there are three options. You can do it from portal or from your code. Okay, from your portal, these are the number of triggers that you can use. Remember, anything that you do it in portal, you cannot edit in your code. Anything that you do it in code, you cannot edit in the portal, because when we deploy, only the DLLs are getting deployed. Okay, so whatever you do it here, it's going to be only the portal code. But let's take a look at the trigger function and see how it comes into picture. Okay, so I'm choosing the trigger function. This is the authorization level. So you see this is the trigger name, the function name, and the resource group. And if you click on code plus test, basically the code that you choose to build it in the portal will come here. You need to type all the code here if you're building it in the portal. Okay, but this is a simple test function, or I would say for understanding. So basically what it is doing is it is receiving a request and the iLogger as a parameter, and let's click on the test run, and you can use either a post or a get endpoint. Basically the whole code, what it is doing is it is looking for a variable called name in the query parameter. If you do provide a name in the query parameter, it will take that and give us a response. If you don't, it will look for the same parameter in the body. Okay, so right now we're sending it in the body. Now if I do it in a wrong, like if I don't pass the name, it's saying that you did not pass it. But in order to satisfy the get endpoint, I can add it in the parameter which is in the query. Here if I provide a name and then a value, as per the code logic, one of the condition is satisfied, so it will take this name. That's why hello learn smart coding is coming. Now what we have to do and understand is, you can also see the input on output here. You can see the logs here getting recorded every time when the application and the app function is running, the logs are getting recorded here. And you can go to the overview, you can see the application insights, the telemetrics here. All these things will be good. Now this function, you can disable it, you can delete it. Okay, if you're building anything that is related to the Azure portal, and this is absolutely fine, but what will happen is, if you want to get the URL, go to the function and click on the get function URL. And if you execute this function, you should also notice there is something called code. That's a shared access signature code. If the code is not there, the application will not be invoked. So our function is not anonymous, our function is authenticated against the function. That's why you have to pass the code here if you're trying to invoke it in the URL and it is available only for the HTTP trigger or the other available functions, not for the timer functions. Okay, so we have this function key. This is the key that has been shared in the code, and there is something called master key also. You can redeem this key if this key was compromised. All those things you can do it, right? You can also come to app keys. App keys belongs to, or it's supported for all the functions within the Azure functions. Okay, it's not just for one function. So you have a master key and default key. Now you can also go to this application insights and see what's going on with the logs and all those stuff. Now let's go to the application, right click on the application and do a publish. Right now we're going to just do a publish. When we do a setup of the CI/CD pipeline or the deployment, it will be almost same, but we don't have to do it manually. So choose your login, choose the subscription that you have. It will list you all the possible function app. Here my function app is listed. I clicked on next and finish. This is going to be creating a profile for the project, and once this profile is ready, see, creating the profile, and then this gets box will get closed automatically. You can click on the publish button in the top. Once you click on publish, it takes few seconds. It will publish the code that is built from this application, and what will happen is two functions will get deployed, and we're going to see those two functions in the portal now. Now let's go to the function and see the remaining one, the previous one that we developed, wiped off, and it clearly shows that currently you are doing everything through the deployment, so there won't be any option to do it from the portal. You cannot have these two mixed together, either go through your code or directly on the portal. Depends on the scenario and the necessity. Some functions are pretty simple, you can do it directly from portal, so it's going to work. Now this will be our endpoint. The moment the endpoint is run, right, you can also test it from here. You can go to the integration testing, you can see what's going on with this timer functions, right? So if you want to learn more about functions, I have separate videos, I'll give you the link in the description. You go and take a look at the functions to build your knowledge, but our focus is to use as much as possible Azure services, and in this case this is the DLL that was there, and we don't need any body or something. Right now there's exception. You know why the exception? The code is looking for the DB context, and DB context we have not configured it, right? It's in the local settings.json, it's not in the Azure function. So we need to add the DB context in the deployed Azure functions. It's almost same. Go to the settings, under settings configuration, there is something called connection string. I will click on add, put the DB context name, and in our case context name itself is DB context, provide the SQL server, click on OK, save, and in no time the function is ready. I can click on this function just for testing purpose. This is a trigger function. You know, if you have the timer function enabled for every 12 hours, that will do its job. Now see, it became an OK, right? So now if we go back to our database, even if we delete and then run it from here, it's going to insert the records. It's going to delete. I'm going to delete everything, and then you can see the last date was 30th, and I'm going to run this application again, test, run it. See, it executed. I come here and you can see the last date was 2 days added, and if I run one more time until 3rd it will go, and after 3rd it won't go. As per the logic, it will go and insert only for the 2 days. Okay, great. So let's come here, run couple of times, and you see until 3rd it came, and after that, even if I try to run this now so many times, the function gets executed but it won't insert anything else. So this is what we have done so far, and it's going to help us in building the UI so quickly. We don't need to insert the data manually. the booking stuff, the tables will be always available. And I hope you enjoy this video. You can follow this, and if you like it, give me a thumbs up, provide your comments in the section, and then subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more tech tutorials. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Happy coding!